I get breaks every 8 minutes in my gig, but we'll keep pressing. One of the things that you described a moment ago, in fact, you both described, were your conservative credentials. Today, describing your conservative credentials as such tend to make the Democrats hide their children, try to figure out how to use a gun, and protect themselves against what they believe to be heartless, soulless, poor people-hating Republicans. That is, of course, an incorrect assumption. However, it is the prevailing thought pattern among the other party. You're going to have to go into a House where you described roughly 76, 77 Republicans, 35 of them are Republican, or conservative rather, and then you're going to have to sit down and negotiate and be bipartisan with the other side. Sure. And get something done. Yeah. How are you going to do that?
Sure. Great question. Well, let me just first, if I could just bend your ear for a second and talk about the difference between the U.S. House and the Texas House. The U.S. House of Representatives, 97% of the time, a congressman votes with their party. It didn't used to be that way. A guy named Sam Rayburn, who used to be the congressman here, came with the idea of controlling committee assignments, and he was able to get party discipline from like 60% to 80%. And then Nancy Pelosi came up with the idea of earmarks. Actually, it was really DeLay and Gamers that really engineered that, and they used earmarks to get it up to 90%. And then now Nancy Pelosi threatens to run people against you if you don't vote with her. And now she's up in the high 97% party discipline. The Texas House is different. There is no minority and majority leader for the Republicans or the Democrats. And so committee assignments are actually bipartisan. Tom Craddock, conservative Republican speaker, was a committee chairman for Pete Laney when he was the Democrat Speaker of the House. And we don't have earmarks. So we actually have a relatively bipartisan process in Austin, which is great. And I think that America can learn from the way we do things here in Texas, because we do have an effective bipartisan legislature. As the chair, so it is exciting and more fun to be in the Texas House of Representatives because you actually get to vote your conscience and not have party leaders banging on you all the time and telling you 97% of the time you're going to vote with me and that's the end of it. Because that's the way we have it in the U.S. House of Representatives. And that's why the U.S. House of Representatives is so ineffective in getting stuff done right now, because it is so partisan. And it's structural. It's really interesting. It didn't used to be that way. 100 years ago, the U.S. House was not that way. Texas House, fortunately, isn't that way, shouldn't be that way. Bipartisanship. As the chairman of the National Defense Committee, which is a national organization, I'm chairman of the Texas chapter, I worked on getting a bill passed to help active duty military voters to be able to vote more effectively. It'll take a little while to go into that, but as part of that, I had a Republican, Frank Court, a fellow Marine officer who was a state representative from very conservative from San Antonio, who was my House supporter, and I had Letitia Vanderpool, who's a very liberal Democrat from Laredo, who was my senator who was sponsoring that bill. So I've worked with Republicans and Democrats, and I'm totally okay with working with liberal Democrats to get stuff done for the state of Texas. That isn't to say that I share their goals, quite the opposite. I'm a conservative. But I also recognize that whoever is going to be my ally in whatever fight it is I'm going to engage, I'm going to use them. And what's great about Texas is that you can actually do that in the state. So I look forward to that.
Bipartisanship, Ms. Jackson, how do you do that?
So bipartisanship is great for Texas because if you don't walk across the aisle and talk and work together with everybody, you will be ineffective as a leader. And everybody recognizes that in the legislature. On city council, it's a nonpartisan race. So I'm used to working with everybody, irrespective of your political ideologies or your needs. Most of the people in Plano, Texas are conservative people. My goal will be to lead Plano and represent Plano the way that they want to be led. And there are a lot of issues. I sent out a survey for one of my mailers, sent out to lots and lots of people. I got hundreds of these things back. It's been very educational because some of the most critical issues around transportation, taxes, abortion, all these things, they're very split. So it very much mirrors about what's happening in Washington, but the people in Plano recognize that you have to work together to get anything done. And I will work together with Democrats, independents, liberals, whoever it is. I will work to get whatever we need to get done to benefit Plano and Collin County and for the state of Texas.